My beloved child, when you find yourself standing at the crossroads of silent shifts within your soul, you may sense something moving on an unspoken frequency. It is not the thunderous roar of a storm or an obvious omen, but a gentle stirring like the wind brushing through treetops in the quiet of night. Like the heartbeat standing before a sacred moment. You may not be able to name it, but your soul knows. It knows that something is drawing near. A new season is unfolding. A different journey is calling from afar, and though you cannot yet see its shape, I have seen it long before you even thought to ask. You are not a random presence in this moment. Your existence here and now is part of the plan I have written since eternity past. Before the first beam of light pierced the formless darkness, I knew you. Before your first word was spoken, I heard the silent cry of your spirit. I do not move according to humanity's hurried schedule, but I am always on time. And now, I want you to know, you are standing at the threshold of a profound spiritual transformation, a shift that is not merely outward, but rooted in the very core of your being. There are seasons in life when preparation ceases to be mere waiting and becomes readiness. I am awakening you not to chase the fever of change, but to step into the fullness I have destined for you from the beginning. My child, that fullness does not come through ease, but through surrender, through sleepless nights and deep sighs that no one else hears. I see it all, and in those very moments, I am doing my deepest work within you. Like a skilled craftsman, I do not hastily shape you. I place every detail with perfect precision. Nothing in your life is wasted. No day is overlooked. No tear goes unnoticed. My dear one, you may feel lost, but I want you to understand that the loneliness you are experiencing is not a sign of abandonment. It is an invitation into the secret place, where I whisper things only those who dare to remain can hear. In a world of noise, I choose the whisper. Amidst rushing crowds, I choose stillness. And those who choose to hear me in the quiet will come to know the voice of life. I am not hurried, for I am building what lasts. I am not rushed, for I am constructing what cannot be shaken. And you, chosen one, are a part of it. You may not understand why so much in your life seems to have stalled, why doors once open have now slammed shut, why relationships once warm have turned distant. But I want you to know, this is not regression, but preparation. Not everything that is pruned is a loss. Some things must fall away for new things to grow. Just as a seed must die within the soil before it can bloom, your soul too must go through seasons of stillness in order to rise in strength. And it is in the darkness that new life begins to sprout. My child, if I did not take from you what you once clung to, you would never discover what you truly need in order to grow. If I did not allow the ground to shake beneath your feet, you would never find that your only unshakable foundation is me. If I did not bring you face to face with your limits, you would live forever in the illusion of self-reliance. And I love you far too much to let you stay in that illusion. I love you enough to let the shaking come, so that I may become the unmovable ground beneath your life. Remember Joseph, betrayed by his own brothers, sold into a foreign land, falsely accused, forgotten, yet every trial wove together the garment of destiny. Without the pit, Joseph would never have reached the palace. Without the darkness of the prison, he would never have seen the light of the throne. I am writing a story with your life not just so you may live, but so that you may reflect my presence in a world starving for truth. And one day, like Joseph, you too will say, "What was intended to harm me, God used for good." You are the soil I am tilling, the field I am tending. I am not in a hurry to harvest, because I am sowing for eternity. And if you remain in this process, if you choose to trust me, even when you do not understand, I promise you will witness wonders. You will not merely survive, but live abundantly. Not only overcome, but rise above. Not just observe, but carry the marks of transformation. You will become a dwelling place of life, one sent to heal, to uplift, and to awaken. As time passes, you will come to realize that some seasons are not for doing, but for listening. What feels like delay may in truth be heaven's invitation to pause and align your soul with the rhythm of eternity. These are not meaningless gaps, but sacred chambers where I meet you in stillness to reveal things that busyness would never let you grasp. When every door on the outside seems shut, that is when I open the one within, a door into the secret place, where only you and I can enter. There are truths you can only learn in silence, and there are voices you can only hear when all others fade. In a world spinning fast, I am calling forth a generation who knows how to pause, not to retreat, but to be refilled, not to avoid, but to be made ready. For when a warrior learns to kneel, that is when he becomes strongest. I do not seek those who run without direction. I seek those who dwell in my presence, so that when they rise, they carry not just their own strength, but the majesty of heaven. You've asked why you feel weary, even when you've not overextended yourself, why you feel heavy without a clear reason. It is because your soul carries unseen burdens, unspoken worries, désirs, unanswered questions, all forming a spiritual weight. I see that, and I am calling you to lay it down. You were not created to carry it all. Some things you must place at my feet, and I will carry them for you. When you learn to release your burdens to me, you will find freedom. When you dare to admit that you cannot manage everything alone, that is when you enter a new dimension of faith where your strength no longer comes from you, but from me. Do not let weariness deceive you into thinking you are on the wrong path. Often, it is when you are doing exactly what is right that you feel most tired, because the moment of breaking is also the brink of breakthrough. Like a woman in labor, the pain is not a sign of error, but proof that something is about to be born. You are in that season, the season of sacred pain, but you will not be left alone in it. I am the faithful midwife. I will be with you from the first contraction to the moment what I planted in you is fully born. Every tear you've quietly shed, I have gathered. None of them are in vain. Each one is a seed, and the soil of your soul where they have fallen will be the ground from which I cause life to spring forth. Do not underestimate the prayers that seem unanswered. Do not diminish the nights you've knelt in silence. Not one of your pleas has been lost. All have been heard, recorded, and one day, perhaps on a day you least expect, they will be answered with clarity and power. Let your silent sacrifice become a fragrance pleasing to heaven. Let your faithfulness, even when unseen, I become a living altar where I may dwell and reveal my presence. In an age where everything is measured by outward results, I measure the depth of your heart not by how much you do, but by how sincerely you offer, not by the noise, but by the heartbeat. And you, though you may feel small in a vast sea of people, I still see you, still love you. It still call you by name. No one can take your place in my heart. My child, you were not created to blend in, but to stand out in my light. And that light does not come from skill or from meat, flows from my presence within you. I am seeking lamps that do not burn out souls, willing to be set aflame to light the way for others. And you, if you are willing to keep that flame, however small, burning in the night, I will use you to illuminate the land. You don't need to wait until you're perfect for me to use you. I didn't choose you because you were enough. I chose you because I want to make you complete. What you see as flaws, I can turn into instruments. What you consider failure, I can use to teach others how to rise again. I'm not looking for the perfect, I'm looking for the surrendered. For when a person lays themselves on my altar, I pour down from heaven a sacred fire, and that fire will consume every limit, every doubt, and every fear. Do not compare your journey to anyone else's. Every path I design is unique. And you are walking a road that only you have been called to walk. It may not be straight. It may not be understood by others. But I am the one walking with you. And as long as you keep moving forward, no turning back, no hesitation, no second guessing, you will reach the destination. A destination that is not merely a place of rest, but a place where my glory will be revealed through you. For I don't only want to bring you out, I want to bring you in. You used to think that the silent moments in your spiritual life were signs that I had withdrawn from you. But the truth is, those are the moments when I draw closest. Just as a teacher stays silent during a test, I have quietly watched every step to see whether you would apply what I have taught. Not to condemn, but to affirm, not to judge, but to strengthen. And beloved, I have seen your faithfulness in the quiet nights when there were no applause, no praise, but still you chose to keep your heart pure and your hands clean. That is the truest form of worship. Many believe that glory appears only on the stage, but I often meet my children backstage. I'm not impressed by lights, fame, or public recognition. I am moved by surrender, the quiet decisions to live set apart, by the courage to say no to the temporary in order to hold on to the eternal. And you have made those decisions more often than you realize. You don't need to see the reward right away, because the true reward is being prepared in my presence where no moth can destroy, no hand can steal, and every tear and drop of sweat is turned into eternal glory. There are seasons when I intentionally hide the results, not to frustrate you, but to teach you how to live by faith, because if your faith only survives when everything is going well, then it's not true faith. True faith lives when everything collapses, shines when every other light goes out, stands when all other ground shakes. I have allowed those circumstances not to make you doubt me, but so you'd see that you were never alone. Every time you thought you were falling into the abyss, I was already there, arms outstretched, holding you, even when you didn't realize it. Do you remember Daniel in the lion's den? He wasn't saved from it, but preserved in it. I don't always pull you out of trials, but I will always be in the midst of them with you. As I was in the fire with Daniel's 3 friends, as I walked on waves with Peter in the storm, I am walking with you through this very journey. My presence is not always shown through immediate miracles, but is often known by a peace that surpasses all understanding, a peace that can only come from heaven. When it feels like everything is piling up on you, don't rush to carry it all. I never call you to do anything I won't equip you for, and that equipping comes from being near Meno, from doing more, but from remaining more, not from striving, but from listening. I want you to learn to live from the secret place, unaffected by public opinion, untouched by emotional tides, unshaken by circumstance. That's where true strength is forged. That's where I etch into your heart what the world can never steal. My child, don't just work for me, learn to walk with me. Because when you walk with me, you will no longer strive in human effort. Every door that needs to open, I will open. Every question that needs clarity, I will reveal. And every blessing you need, I will give at the right time. But first, I want your heart, not to control, but to protect, not to dominate, but to love. For I know that when you give me what's deepest in your soul, you will receive the best that heaven holds. My child, the days ahead will require resolve, not just in words, but in life. The world will blur the lines between truth and lies, light and darkness, but you are called to be unshakable. I am looking for souls who know how to stand still in me, even when everything else is being pulled apart. And standing still doesn't mean passive waiting. It is a powerful act of faith, a silent declaration that even when nothing is visible, you still believe I am at work. There may come a time when you must stand alone, but remember, no one who stands in me is ever truly alone. I once stood alone in Gethsemane, alone on the cross, so that you would never be forsaken. If you are misunderstood because of your obedience, if you are mocked for going against the current, know this: you are walking the same road I once walked. And the reward for that faithfulness is not only in the future, it begins now, in the awareness of my presence, in the peace that guards your soul, and in the deep knowing that you are living on purpose. Hold fast to what I've placed in your heart. Others may not understand it. They may laugh or dismiss it, but that does not diminish its worth. Do not abandon what I've sown in you just because it hasn't yet bloomed. Some seeds need a long winter to break open, and some callings require loneliness to grow strong. I chose you not because you had everything, but because I want to reveal everything through you. You don't need a heavenly diploma to be used by me. You only need a willing heart and a surrendered mind. You will see, when you are faithful in the small, I will entrust you with the great. When you dare to keep your heart upright in hidden trials, I will give you influence in public places, not so that you may be glorified, but that my name may shine through your life. And when that happens, you will know with certainty it was not by your strength, nor your might, but by my Spirit. For every victory, every good thing, every ounce of glory comes from me and for me. It's time for you to see the bigger picture, not through the lens of temporary anxiety, but through the eyes of a soul trained by heaven. What's happening around you is not random, and it is certainly not abandonment. It is the rise of a new season known, birthed from the very silence you've been questioning. In that silence, I am reaching into every fiber of your destiny, clearing out the excess, and tuning your spirit to hear my voice more clearly than ever before. Because you cannot step into greatness carrying yesterday's weight. No one is permitted to bring the dust of the past season into the threshold of a rain-soaked revival. You cannot see it all right now, and that's by design. If you knew everything ahead, you wouldn't need faith. And without faith, you'd never discover how wonderfully faithful I am. I do not lead you with detailed maps, but with each step in the light of my word, and each step, though small, is progress if you remain steadfast in me. When I called Peter out of the boat, it wasn't just to perform a miracle, it was to teach him that water becomes solid ground under the feet of those who trust my word. Just as Abraham left his homeland for a place he had never seen, you too are standing at a sacred turning point. This is a call beyond your comfort zone, beyond routine religion, beyond the patterns you once considered spiritual. For what I'm about to do in your life cannot be contained in old vessels. You cannot pour new wine into old wineskins. Old thinking must make way for renewal. An old heart must soften to hear heaven's new strategy. And if you allow me to shape you, you will witness transformation not only in your circumstances, but deep within your very being. My child, I am calling you out from what is familiar not because it is bad, but because it is no longer fitting for where I am taking you. Just as the Israelites could not carry Egyptian food into the promised land, you cannot carry old mindsets into the new promise I am leading you toward. This is not a physical territory, but a spiritual elevation. There, you will know me not only as Savior but as Commander. You will no longer live as one who follows the crowd, but as one entrusted with a divine assignment from heaven. But for this to become real, you must learn one thing: immediate obedience. Not obedience because you understand, but obedience because you trust me. When I told Noah to build an ark, he did not wait for the rain to start. Those who need full proof before believing do not walk by faith. But those who believe before they see become co-laborers with heaven. That is the kind of person I am looking for, not someone perfect, but someone who knows who is perfect within them. You will face tests that challenge what you say you believe. Companions you thought were with you may take a different path. Doors you were sure would open may slam shut. Support you relied on may crumble. But do not fear, this is not loss. It is refinement. I never remove anything without having something better prepared. And I never leave you alone in the process of learning to let go. I am there, in the transition, holding your hand when it trembles, wiping your tears when no one understands your silent pain. Remember Joseph, sold into slavery by his own brothers. You may feel like you've been thrown into a pit, forgotten in a dark place. But just as Joseph was lifted from the prison to the palace, I also have plans to bring you from obscurity to influence, not for your own glory, but so that my name may be made known through your life. Nothing you are enduring is wasted. It is part of the process I am using to prepare you for the throne, is not for those who cannot endure the prison. My child, I am training you for an assignment no eye has seen. Perhaps no one understands. Perhaps no one supports you, but I see what is growing inside you. And if you remain persistent, if you do not give up halfway, you will witness the day I reveal what I have been quietly preparing. In solitude, I place within you a voice. In darkness, I ignite within you a flame. In waiting, I cultivate within you a resilience that no storm can extinguish. No one is born strong. True strength comes from choosing to rise each time you fall. And you have done that more times than you realize. Every time you chose forgiveness over revenge, trust over doubt, hope over complaint, you took a step closer to the fulfillment of my promise. Do not compare your journey to another's. You were designed for a unique mission, and no one else can take your place. I do not need you to become a copy of someone else. I need you to become the version I handcrafted myself. So keep walking, even if you cannot see the full road. Stay faithful, even if you have not yet seen the outcome. Keep trusting, even if all you have to cling to is a promise. I never said it would be easy, but I promised you would never walk alone. And when you look back, you will see every step bore my footprint beside yours. Every tear was counted. Every whispered prayer was heard. You are not just someone following me, you are someone chosen, taught, and led into the fullness of a divine purpose. When the season changes, you will realize that what was once familiar is no longer suitable. Like a winter coat in summer, some things must be shed for you to move freely. Many get stuck in what once worked, not realizing that new anointing requires new wineskins. Not because the old is wrong, but because it no longer holds room for what I am about to give. Certain habits, thought patterns, and even relationships will begin to fade, not because you failed, but because you are ascending. And at higher altitudes, not everything can come with you. Do not condemn yourself when you no longer resonate with things that once brought you joy. It is not misdirection, it is transformation. Your spirit is developing a new appetite. Just as a child outgrows soft food, your soul now longs for solid substance things, deeper, truer, purer. You are beginning to seek not just temporary peace, but enduring presence. You no longer want to hear about May, you want me. Not just comfort, but a touch from my very heart. That is why you feel like you are leaving one chapter but not yet stepping fully into the next. This in-between place is uncomfortable, but it is sacred. In this space, greatness is formed. In the silence where no applause is heard, I write the most glorious chapters. You are in the land of becoming, where every trace of preparation is being etched into your being. If you can endure the quiet and learn from what no one sees, I will entrust you with what others cannot imagine. Not everyone will understand you in this season, and you don't need them to. What you need is to keep the inner flame burning when others stop listening. I am still speaking. When no one walks with you, I still do. When everything else is taken away, you will discover I am enough. Not in the crowds is strength found, but in solitude there, true power is revealed. For if you can stand firm with nothing, you will be able to hold everything when I place it in your hands. You may be facing decisions no one supports. They may say you're foolish, that you're choosing the hard road, but don't let that discourage you. Just as Jonathan went to battle with only his armor-bearer, others may have seen it as reckless, yet that bold act led to a great victory. You don't need the majority to do what's right. If I am with you, the smallest step becomes mighty. If you walk with boldness, I will shake what seemed immovable. You will feel torn between your desire to move quickly and my slower pace. But don't let delay make you doubt the purpose. Delay is not denial. Sometimes, I delay not because you are unready to receive, but because what I've prepared is not yet ready to be given. I am not only thinking of you, I'm thinking of the impact you will have. I am not only preparing the blessing for you, I am preparing you for the blessing. And lasting success only happens when those two meet at the right time. You may be praying daily and still not see results. But do not measure the power of prayer by how fast the answer comes. Words spoken in faith never vanish, they are moving in the unseen. Shifting circumstances, aligning details. Until the moment is right, keep praying not to change me, but to keep your heart anchored in me. Prayer not only changes your world, it transforms you. So, when the miracle arrives, you will be strong enough to hold it. Remember, Lasting victories don't come from quick wins but from unshakable endurance. Those who stay in position in hard times will see deliverance in the appointed time. Just as Daniel did not compromise in Babylon's court, you too will be called to stand firm in the headwinds. And if you are faithful in secret, I will exalt you in the time I choose. Not for fame, but because my name deserves to be glorified through those I trust. You will face battles that are not easy, but with every fight, you will discover something new about me and something deeper about yourself. In the battle, I will teach you to wield weapons others cannot see. Praise in adversity will strike a fatal blow to darkness. Humility in the midst of misunderstanding will be the sword that cuts through every scheme. And forgiveness will be the way out, so you are not chained by pain. My child, I do not seek perfect warriors. I seek hearts that are willing, and if you offer me a sincere heart, I will create wonders out of what you deemed insignificant. Every wound you've ever carried will become a living testimony. Every tear you've shed will water the seeds of a new harvest. And every step you've taken, trembling though it may be, will lead you precisely to where I have called you to be. Therefore, chosen one, do not retreat when the pressure rises. Do not fall silent when your voice carries the backing of heaven. Do not fear when the waves rise, for it is then that I will stand with you upon the waters. And if you dare to step forward, I will turn what once seemed to hinder you into the very foundation for your ascent. For I am the unchanging one, and my promises are in motion day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute, guiding you toward a glory greater than anything you have ever dared to dream. There will come a time when everything around you seems to be falling apart, not because you've done wrong, but because the old foundation is making way for the new. What once felt secure will begin to shake. Relationships you trusted may fade. Plans you once clung to may no longer work. Yet in such days, I call you to walk by faith, not by sight. You were not created to live by predictability. You were called to trust, even in the absence of certainty. You may ask why things have to be this hard. But, my child, great things always come with a worthy price. No sacred destiny is handed out casually. What I have prepared for you is not a fleeting blessing, it is an eternal calling, and to carry that calling, you must be refined. Like gold in the fire, do not despise the seasons of chiseling. They are not punishment, they are preparation. When I mold you, I do not make a decorative vessel. I forge a weapon fit for the battlefield, resilient, enduring, and sharp. In this process, there will be days when you feel abandoned, but my silence is not my absence. Sometimes the teacher is silent while the student takes the test, and you are now in that sacred testing season. Everything you've learned, all you've been taught, is now being tried, not to make you fail, but to make you firm. That silence forces you to remember what I once spoke, to cling to my word like an anchor in the storm. And if you hold fast, you will discover that beyond the silence comes the thunderous sound of victory. You will also find that the higher the climb, the thinner the air. Those who once walked with you may not be able to go further. That doesn't mean they're evil or disloyal. Every journey has its stages. Just as Moses had to leave the camp to ascend the mountain and meet me, you too will have moments where it is just you and me. And there, in that solitude, you will hear me most clearly. Do not fear being alone. In separation, holiness is formed. In stillness, the soul is aligned. In quietness, Vision is renewed. There may come a day when others question your calling, suspect your motives, or even tarnish your name. But you do not need to defend yourself. You do not need to prove anything. I am your defender. When I raise you up, no one can pull you down. When I affirm you as mine, no one can deny it. Live in such a way that you cannot be condemned. Let your life be the loudest witness. And over time, even the doubters will have to acknowledge that I am with you. Some doors will close without explanation. Invitations may be rescinded. Dreams that once felt near may suddenly vanish. But understand this, I never take away anything unless something better is coming. Every rejection is a redirection. Every denial is a whisper from me saying, you haven't seen the whole picture yet, and if you keep going, you will reach the door that no man can shut, for I am the one who opens it. I am not only the beginning, I am the finisher. What begins in hardship will end in glory. I want you not just to be a hearer, but a doer, not merely to learn my word, but to walk in it. When you obey in the small things, I will entrust you with the greater. When you are faithful in hidden places, I will reward you in the open. The world looks at results, but I look at obedience, and it is steady, consistent faithfulness that will bring forth miraculous, changeant grand gestures. But small, sincere decisions repeated over time. And in the end, you will see that every pain, every fall, every moment of waiting was not in vain. I am weaving a tapestry grander than anything you can imagine. Threads of tears, threads of perseverance, threads of trust, all are being woven into a robe of glory that you will wear in the appointed time. And when that moment comes, you will no longer question the reason for the long nights. You will know, I never left you. Every step you thought was solitary was marked by me. So, my beloved child, keep walking. Even when the path is rugged, even when your heart is uncertain, keep walking. Every step taken in faith is a step toward fulfillment. And I, the Eternal One, will never lead you to a place where my grace cannot keep you. Be strong, for I am at work not on the surface, but in your depths. And soon, you will understand it was the shaking that led you to the place that cannot be shaken. There is a truth you must hold on to like a sharp sword amid doubt and confusion. Not everything you lose is a loss. In the spiritual reality, there are things I remove only to return you to yourself, your truer, fuller self. You were not created to cling to everything, but to learn how to let go at the right time. For some hands cannot receive the new until they've released the old. And sometimes, I will allow everything to fall apart so that something better can rise from the ashes. Do not be surprised when some who once stood beside you turn away in your hardest hour. You will feel hurt, even bitter. But remember, I am the one who appoints companions for each season. Some are assigned only to the time of sowing, not to the time of harvest. Some are meant to help you begin, but not to finish with you. Thank them for their part and move forward. You cannot journey far if your heart clings to those who have already taken another path. I do not measure you by your achievements, but by your obedience. Not everyone who accomplishes much is to be praised, but the one who faithfully fulfills what I have entrusted. While people seek visible results, I find value in your faithfulness when nothing is yet clear. I see you when you serve without recognition. I see you when you pray alone in the dark. I see you when you reject easy opportunities in order to keep your heart pure. Those unseen moments, though, unnoticed by man-shake heaven. Do not let prolonged silence cause you to doubt my love. I am not one who is rushed by time or swayed by fleeting emotions. My love is not subject to circumstances. It is sealed by an eternal covenanta, covenant written not in ink, but in blood, not secured by empty promises, but by the cross. I do not love you only when you are strong. I love you even in your weakness, not because you always do right, but because I am always faithful. You once thought that favor meant my presence. But look at Daniel in the lion's den, the three friends in the fiery furnace, Paul and Silas in the prison cell. My presence does not always prevent adversity, but it turns adversity into triumph. I did not promise you won't be thrown into the fire, but I promise the fire won't consume you. I did not promise to keep you from the lion's den, but I promise to shut the mouths of lions for your sake. My presence is the reason you stand, not because you avoid every battle, but because you overcome them all. And if you listen closely, you will hear a call, rising not the noise of the world, but a whisper from the Spirit. I am calling your nomino, so you would simply exist, but so you would arise, not to retreat, but to take your place. The time has come for those who truly know me to live differently. The time has come for the anointed ones to emerge from hiding. Your silence is no longer enough. You must speak. You must step. You must reveal my kingdom in how you live, how you forgive, and how you believe. But to step into that calling, you must release the pursuit of perfection. I am not looking for those who never fall. I am looking for those who always return. I did not call you because you were qualified. I qualify you because I have called you. Do not let shame keep you from destiny. Do not let the past rob you of the future. I do not see you through the lens of failure. I see you through the blood that was shed for you. When I look at you, I see someone being rebuilt, not by your striving, but by my grace, just as a carpenter needs time to turn raw wood into a masterpiece. I am doing the same in you. There are parts that must be carved away, limiting beliefs, old wounds, distorted truths. I do not do this to harm you, but to set you free. True freedom doesn't come by avoiding pain, but by being healed. And healing requires exposure. I cannot heal what you continue to hide. Bring everything into the light so I can touch it and transform it. And in that process, you will experience something the world cannot grasp. Peace that doesn't come from external calm, but from deep communion with me. Peace is not the absence of the storm, but my presence in the midst of it. While everything around you shifts, your heart can remain still, because you know I hold the helm. You can laugh in the face of trial, because the battle does not belong to you, it belongs to me, and I have never lost a single one. So do not focus on the circumstance. Fix your eyes on me. Do not count the days of waiting, count the times I've been faithful. Do not fear what you do, not know, trust the one who knows all things. Do not live like one without hope, for you carry within you eternal life. No matter how dark the sky, you are still light. No matter how the ground shakes, your foundation remains. Though others may betray, I remain faithful. Though all may change, I do not change. My beloved, on this path I lead you. There will be turns that defy reason, and stretches of road where your feet feel too weak to continue. But it is in those very moments that I am writing the deepest chapters of your story, not in black ink, but with tears and faith. Every tear you've shed is counted, none forgotten. Though they fall to the earth, they rise to heaven. They are not signs of weakness, but of strength made visible. For where your humanity ends, heaven begins. I know there have been nights when you've laid your head down heavy with sorrow, mornings when you woke up feeling empty, times when words wouldn't commonly sighs and closed eyes longing for peace. But even in those moments, when it seemed no one was listening, I was bending my ear toward you. When no one could understand your exhaustion, I was the one who deeply empathized. I am not only the glorious, sovereign God, I am also the one who once suffered, who was rejected, who stood alone on Golgotha. That is why I understand every fracture in your soul. You may ask, why must I walk through all this? I do not resent the question. I cherish your honesty with your pain. But what you don't yet see is that each heavy step is building strength for things far beyond your imagination. Every wound is becoming a gateway for my power to pour through. Nothing you've endured is wasted. Just as Joseph was betrayed by his brothers, forgotten in prison, yet used to save a nation, too, I am using your current season to prepare you for a position no one can take from you. You were not born to follow the crowd. You were made to go before your time. And those who go first are often misunderstood. Many won't understand you. They'll say you're too intense, too different, too unrealistic. But don't let their ignorance rob you of your inner confirmation. Not everyone hears what you hear. Not everyone sees what's been revealed to you. Don't expect universal approval, for even I was rejected. Do not take the crowd as your measure of truth. Let my word be your standard. When I called Abraham, he had to leave everything behind to go to a land he did not know. When I called Moses, he left Egypt's palace to enter the wilderness. When I called my disciples, they left their boats, nets, and families to follow me. You cannot step into greatness while clinging to what is familiar. And often, loneliness is the evidence that you are walking the right way. So lift your head. My child, don't let the weight of the present dim the light of hope. The sky may be overcast, but the light is still shining behind the clouds. I am watching every step you take, not as a harsh taskmaster, but as a loving father, always ready to lift you when you fall. Not every closed door is rejection. Sometimes it is my way of protecting you from what was never meant for you. There are doors that will open in my timing, not yours. Do not take silence as a sign that I have left. Sometimes I am silent so that you learn to listen. My silence is not absence, it is an invitation. An invitation to go deeper, beyond surface emotion, to the place where true faith begins, the place where you believe without seeing. And that kind of faith will hold you firm in the day of shaking. Do not build your life on praise or the approval of others. Today they may celebrate you. Tomorrow they may abandon you. But I do not change. My love does not shift with seasons. It is steady as the mountains, secure as the heavens, vast as the sea. You do not need to strive to be loved by me, only need to receive it. And that love, though it demands no condition, will transform everything within you. And when you begin to realize that you are loved not because you are impressive, but because you belong to me, every burden will begin to lift. You will no longer compare yourself to others, no longer race to meet standards, no longer fear that you are not enough, because in me, you have already been chosen, not after you improved, But before you ever learned to pray, before you were formed in your mother's womb, I saw you and I chose you. And that choice is eternal. My child, when the storms rise, don't focus on the boat tossing in the waves. Fix your eyes on me, the one resting in peace within the boat's heart. Do not let the crashing seas make you forget how close I am. One word from me can still the ocean. One touch from me can change your life. Stop trying to understand everything. Just learn to take my hand. In that hand, all things are held steady. In that hand, you are safe. And in that hand, your destiny is being directed not by your plan, but by the perfect script written from eternity. Right now, as everything seems to be shaking around you, as the world turns upside down by the day, I want you to understand this. Not every shaking is a disaster, and not every loss is a failure. There are things I intentionally allow to collapse a note to destroy you, but to free you from false dependencies. What once supported you has become invisible chains, and I am unfastening them so you can walk freely in the light. The freedom I offer you is not the absence of trouble, but the strength to stand in the midst of it. Just as Daniel's 3 friends stood in the fire without being burned, and Daniel slept peacefully among lions, I want you to learn how to walk through flames without fear. You are not alone. The one who was with them in the fire is also with you in the day of adversity. And when you emerge from the trials, you will carry the mark of survival not by your strength, but by my covering. Remember, no battle lasts forever. Every storm has an end. But what is eternal is what is being formed within you through each storm. Patience is not born from easy days, but from seasons of tearful waiting. Unshakable faith isn't built through swift miracles, but through loyalty in the fog. And wisdom doesn't come merely from knowledge, but from failures that I have transformed into lessons. At times, I don't change your circumstances because I'm using them to change you. Sometimes I don't still the storm because I want you to learn how to ride the waves. Don't measure your worth by the calmness around you, but by the maturity growing within you. I am not looking for perfection in you. I am looking for a heart that trusts, that longs, and that calls on me even when nothing is clear. My child, lift up your eyes. What you are walking through is not just for you. I am training you for the generations to come. There will be people who are rescued, guided, and enlightened by the very story you are living now. You are not merely enduring, you are pioneering. And when you make it through this darkness, you will not walk out alone. You will bring others with you, those who once thought they could never escape the shadows. Your perseverance will be their guiding light. Be brave in holding on to faith, even when surrounded by bad news, shouts, and criticism. Let your heart remain at peace. I don't ask you to control everything. I ask only that you choose to believe, not faith in outcomes, but faith in the one who promised, not belief that everything will be easy, but belief that I will always be near, and my presence, dear child, is worth more than every answer. A day will come when people will ask you, "How did you make it through?" And you won't answer with eloquent philosophy or sharp arguments, but with the testimony of your survival. You will say, "Because I held his hand." And that simple truth will open blind eyes, soften hardened hearts, and awaken souls numb in spiritual sleep. It will be a testimony more powerful than any sermon, because it is written in your scars. Never forget, no scar is meaningless. Every wound that once bled will become a sign that you lived, endured, and were restored. I do not erase your past as if it never happened. I turn it into a foundation of wisdom. I turn the pain into stones strong enough to build your future. Everything you thought was lost, I am gathering to weave a story that will even leave you in awe. And when you begin to see that story unfold, you will understand why I didn't answer certain prayers in the way you hoped. Because I don't simply want to give you what you want, I want to shape you into who you were always meant to be. I see beyond your immediate desire. I see the eternal fruit. And with that vision, I designed a path where you don't just receive blessing, you become a blessing. Do not fear the days ahead. If I sustained you in yesterday's darkness, would I abandon you in tomorrow's uncertain light? If I did not let you break under past storms, will I now let you drown in new waves? Recall the times I answered, the moments I arrived right on time when you least expected it. Then you will know I have never left. So, my child, rise up, wipe your tears, shake off the dust, take a deep breath and walk on, not by your strength, but by my power, not to prove you are strong, but to affirm that you are held by the one who is stronger than all. And as you continue, step by step, you will realize you are not merely surviving, you are overcoming. You are not just staying alive, you are living with purpose. And that is exactly what I desire for you. There will come moments in your life when you feel a deep stirring that doesn't come from within, but from a place beyond understanding. That is when I am calling your soul not through noise, but through sacred stillness. Just as Elijah heard my whisper amid the earthquake, the fire, and the storm, you too will recognize my voice through drama, but through the strange peace that appears in the middle of chaos. In a world where every voice competes for attention, I will use silence to draw your soul near. You will find yourself at crossroads of significant decisions. Your choices will no longer be between right and wrong, but between what is good and what is appointed. In those moments, I will not ask you to act based on emotion, but to listen for the deep guidance within your spirit. Remember, Abraham left everything behind, not knowing where he was going, simply because of one call. Like him, you will learn to walk by faith without seeing, but believing without fully understanding, but still obeying, not knowing the way, but trusting the one who leads. In the journey ahead, there will be moments when you'll want to quit, when dreams feel too distant, when promises still seem formless. But I remind you, delay is not denial. Every word I have spoken will come to pass, but in the time I have appointed. I do not work on the world's clock. I work on eternal rhythm. What you see as delay, I see as preparation. What feels like waiting, I see as refinement, so that when the promise arrives, you are mature enough to hold it without losing yourself. Do not confuse my silence with absence. There are seasons when I say nothing, not because I've left you, but because I am watching your response. My silence is not withdrawal, it is an invitation to demonstrate faithfulness. Just as a teacher is silent during a test, so too there will be seasons when you must live by what I have already spoken, not by what you currently feel. It is in that steadiness that you prove your faith isn't ruled by circumstance. My child, as the world around you shifts, do not scramble to keep up with the changes. Root yourself in mu where nothing shakes. I do not want you living a life swayed by emotion or by others' approval or disapproval. I want you to be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, steadfast, flourishing, no matter the storm. And you will only be able to stand firm when your roots run deep into the eternal source, intimacy with me. A life hidden in prayer, and a heart nourished daily by my word. My child, do not seek signs in order to believe. Believe and then you will see. I am not raising a generation that chases miracles but forgets relationship. I long for children who know me not only as the one who acts, but as the one who is present. Miracles will pass, but whoever has tasted my presence will never again desire to live apart from me. Become one who lives by revelation, not by headlines told by heaven, not by fleeting emotions. There will be times when you are misunderstood, when others doubt what I'm doing in you, when some mock your faith, but you were not called to please the majority. You were chosen to bring delight to the one who set you apart from the multitude, just as Joseph was betrayed, falsely accused, and forgotten yet still raised up in due time. So too have I appointed a time for you. Do not demand premature recognition. Do not strive to prove yourself. Let me be the one who affirms you through the fruit of your obedience. When the world tells you to stop, remember that the voice of heaven urges you forward. When everything within you wants to give up, remember, I not only began the good work in you, I will complete it. Hold fast to my word as a lamp to your feet in the night. Let your heart be steadfast, not because you are strong, but because you know that I never change. Though everything else may shift, I remain unshaken. Though all around you may tremble, I stand firm like a rock. Remember, no step taken in me is ever wasted. Every time you choose love over anger, prayer over resentment, patience over haste, you are storing up invisible treasures. Every quiet act of obedience echoes into eternity. You may not see the result immediately, but heaven never overlooks a single act of faith. I see it all. I remember it all, and I will reward you in my perfect time. My beloved child, as you enter the season I have appointed, you will begin to see clearly what merely wears a spiritual appearance and what truly flows from life itself. The masks will fall away. I will not allow you to live in mixture any longer. This is the season where I cleanse the altar of your heart until only one thing remains: complete consecration to me. What once seemed essential will lose its value. I will lead you from ritual excess to the simplicity of communion, from surface to depth. For it is not extravagance that moves me, but a heart that is honest and unhidden. You will learn the difference between busyness and fruitfulness. Many pursue good works and yet miss the main relationship. I do not need noisy activity if it does not come from a heart that listens and obeys. I am seeking those who not only work for me but dwell with me. Just like Mary chose to sit at my feet, even while others stared in judgment, you too are called to choose the better part. It is in that place not of motion, but of intimacy, where you will not only be equipped for battle, but also restored from the wounds of the fight. A day will come when you look back and realize it was the lonely hours with me that forged your inner strength. The times you knelt in tears, releasing what you couldn't understand, became the very turning points into deeper dimensions of faith. Do not despise the hidden nights when you wrestled with lies in your mind, for it was there, in the dark, that I spoke. It was in the silence that I revealed. And when you felt the weakest, I poured into you a strength not born of flesh. My child, I will lead you through unfamiliar lands, not to leave you lost, but to teach you how to trust me more than your plans. Just as I led Israel through the wilderness, not because they were lost, but because I wanted them to learn to live by every word from my mouth, so I will lead you. In that place, they could not rely on themselves, or on human strength, or logic. They had to look up each day, each meal, to see that I was their provider. And you will too. The uncertainty you are about to face is not punishment. It is sacred training. There, you will stop asking when and start declaring, whatever comes, I still trust you. Don't look for the easy road. The door to glory is not paved in red carpet. It passes through surrender, through heart-wrenching decisions, through paths lit with just enough light for one more step. But this I promise, I will never withdraw my hand from you. Wherever you go, I will be there, not to control, but to walk with you, not to demand, but to love, not to keep score, but to lift you up. And every time you fall, if you turn back, you will always find my arms open wide. Do not mistake the presence of hardship as the absence of me. It is the opposite. Those I love, I lead into the refining fire, not to destroy, but to purify. Just as gold must pass through flame to be refined, so must your soul be shaped to reflect me more clearly. Do not flee the trial. See it as a sacred chance to be transformed. Every crack within you, when surrendered to me, becomes a place where my light can shine through. I am not looking for perfection. I am looking for surrender. And when you walk through days where no one understands your journey, remember, you are not alone. I have gone before you. I have endured trial, rejection, misunderstanding, and mockery, but I did not stop. I did not turn back. I suffered so that you might enter into life. So when you feel alone in your faith, remember the great cloud of witnesses surrounds you still, cheering you on. Run with endurance the race set before you, fixing your eyes on me, the author and finisher of your faith. You will be drawn into deeper encounters, not through surface-level emotions, but through the depth of revelation. I will reveal my heart to you. I will let you feel the weight of heaven. I will place into your hands things greater than you ever imagined. But I do not give these to the hurried, but to those willing to sit, to learn, to wait. Do not fear solitude, for it is in the stillness that I breathe into you, things the crowd cannot hear. Each time you choose forgiveness over bitterness, you shake the gates of hell. Each time you choose humility over proving your point, heaven rejoices. Your quiet choices resound louder than the loudest sermons. For your life, step by step, decision by decision, is becoming a living letter to the world, a declaration that there is a living God, and He moves through ordinary people with a consecrated heart. Let everything you do, even the smallest act, be rooted in love, not out of fear of rejection, nor for praise, but because you were first loved, first forgiven, first called by name among countless souls. When you move in love, you are partnering with my very nature, and nothing done in love will ever be forgotten. My beloved, maturity is never birthed from ease. It arises when the soul has passed through the darkest valleys and learned how to cling to light even when it's only a flicker. And you, the one reading these words, will soon come to understand this, not through theory, but through living experience. I am training you not just to survive, but to rise, to stand like a pillar in days of shaking. I do not seek worldly prominence in you. but I have placed within you a quiet, unshakable glory. You will look back and realize the wounds you once tried to avoid became the soil where I sowed the seeds of life. The tears you thought were meaningless actually watered unseen beauty. And it was in the silence of pain that you learned to hear another voice, a voice from heaven, not loud, not forceful, but strong enough to calm a broken soul. I was not distant when you cried. I did not turn away when your heart trembled. I knelt beside you, placed my hand on your heart, and whispered, I am still here. And before, in the days to come, you will see more clearly than ever what is enduring and what is fleeting. What is built on haste and self-gain will collapse, but what is rooted in obedience and truth will stand firm. Do not chase after flashy lights and forget the true source. Remember, true light needs no spotlight, no stage. It shines from within, from the depths of a heart that knows how to wait, to endure, to love in quiet faithfulness. You will learn that it is not grandeur that transforms the world, but the faithful souls, known by no one, who walk daily with unwavering trust. And you will see when your heart is truly quiet that I will reveal to you things you never imagined. Heavenly strategies, paths that go against the current, turns that no one else understands. I will show you step by step. I do not require you to understand the whole journey, but I need you to walk when I speak. That is true faith. Not believing when all is clear, but believing when everything appears clouded. Like Abraham leaving his homeland not knowing the destination. Like Moses raising his staff before the Red Sea had parted. Like Elijah entering the wilderness during famine. Still trusting ravens to bring bread each day, you, too, will be called to live like this. Do not seek the old, worn paths, for I am doing something new. Do not expect to relive past experiences, for I am not confined by what has already been. I am the endlessly creative one, and each day I desire to lead you into a new journey. But for this to happen, you must learn to let go of your own will, the old ways, even beautiful dreams that no longer belong to this season. It may hurt, but without release, you cannot rise. And you were made to soar, not to drag your feet across a land where life is already dried up. There will be moments when you ask, why are all the doors closed? Why does no one understand what I carry inside? But I want you to know, it is in the season where no one sees that I am composing a new symphony within your soul. And when the trumpet sounds, you will no longer be who you were. You will rise with new eyes, a voice of authority, and a spirit that understands victory, not born of human strength, but of faithfulness before the Most High. Do not compare your journey with anyone else's. I do not write two stories the same. Your path will have chapters others never need to walk, and they will have turns you will never understand. But what matters is this: I am the author of every page, and when I write, there are no errors, no accidents, and no wasted moments. You may not yet see the full picture, but every brushstroke and every shade is perfectly chosen by me to create the final masterpiece. And when the appointed time comes, everything will make sense. What you once didn't understand will become clear. The tears shed in loneliness will be gathered into a reservoir of grace. And you will not merely be a survivor of the storm, you will be a carrier of the mercy born from it. You will stand among the trembling and declare, I know the one who kept me. And they will see in your eyes something the world cannot manufacture, a light from heaven, not dazzling, but warm, not overpowering, but soul-stirring, not blinding, but impossible to extinguish. So, prepare yourself not with sharpened weapons or intricate plans, but with unwavering trust, etenahad, and hands ready to receive the new. I am drawing near not through thunderous noise, but on a gentle breeze, not through lightning, but through a whisper in your spirit. Let those with ears hear. Let those with faith step out. For the time has come, you will no longer be a follower, but a forerunner, not led by human wisdom, but by the guidance of the one who never loses his way. My child, there comes a moment in the journey when the soul begins to understand rejection by man is not a period, but a semicolon in heaven's manuscript. What appears as loss opens the door to a richer form of abundancion, not measured by possessions or applause, but by depth of insight that comes from above. In those moments when no one stands with you, when every door remains shut, when prayers seem unanswered, this is when I draw closest, not through grand displays, but through a gentle breath, a presence only felt by hearts that have become still. You once thought strength was shown through victory, but I tell you, true strength is often found in the ability to wait without letting go, to trust without proof, to walk even when there is nothing visible ahead, like a mother preparing a crib and tiny clothes without ever having seen her child. Believing in the life growing inside her, you too must prepare for what I have sown in your heart, even when it has not yet appeared. This is not a season for halfway living. You cannot walk in the light while holding hands with the dark. You cannot hunger for the world and still long for the sacred. You will have to choose. No one can serve two masters. It is time to realign your heart, not just in words, but in how you live, not by fleeting emotions, but by a resolve deeply carved. You were not made to live in neutrality, for neutrality is never a safe place. It is where the winds of the age sweep people away. As Jacob once wrestled with the angel through the night and emerged a changed man when the sun rose, you too will face such a moment. You may leave the battle with a mark knot, a wound that weakens, but a change that cannot be reversed. And afterward, you will no longer call me by a name learned from books, but by the name you came to know in your own night of wrestling. That's when faith will cease to be a concept and become your air, your water, your fire. Listen, my child, if I have chosen you, I will also refine you. Calling does not come with empty privilege, comes with sacred weight. If you desire to carry my glory, you must also be willing to carry the cross, not because I am harsh, but because I know no one can preserve the precious if their hands are still loose, or their heart still ruled by shallow values. What you are losing now is not punishment, it is preparation. I am not taking from you to leave you lacking. I am clearing the vessel so you can contain more, deeper, and purer. Many think the path of heaven is paved only with joy, but you've seen no one who is truly called escapes the wilderness. Moses spent 40 years in the desert to learn that power was not in the staff, but in obedience. Joseph was sold and imprisoned not because he failed, but to prepare him to govern a nation. Daniel was thrown into the lion's den, and it was there he proved that loyalty holds more value than life itself. I allow hardship not to destroy but to purify. No one is anointed without first being crushed. I am searching for those who will love me without condition, not only when healing comes, but But even when the sickness lingers, not only when doors open, but when they remain shut despite your knocking, not only when miracles appear, but when all remain silent, true love does not require constant reassurance. It stands firm, even without indulgence. It still sings, even in a room with no music. And that is the kind of love I am planting in you, a love that trusts the unchanging one in a world that never stops changing. Do you know, in every breath you take, I am there. In every seemingly random moment, I am weaving the story of your life. No step is meaningless. No tear falls that I do not collect. And if I have brought you into this journey, I will walk with you until the end. But walking with you does not mean the road will always be easy. It only means you will never walk it alone. And sometimes, in the moments when you feel most abandoned, I am carrying you. So, O soul longing for truth, be steadfast. Do not let the noise outside make you forget the whisper within. Remember my words, treasure them like jewels in your heart. For when the time is right, those very words will become sword and shield. They will become light in the midnight hour, and you will see it was your faithfulness in the hidden places that became the foundation for the day of honor. My child, there will be times when what you are going through cannot be explained by ordinary logic. Why are things unfolding in the opposite direction? Why are seemingly righteous prayers not answered immediately? Why does it feel as if you've been placed in a nameless land, where everything is uncertain and no map exists to lead the way? Beloved, let me affirm this. You are not abandoned. You are being hidden, not because you are unworthy, but because you are destined to carry something greater at the right time. Just as Moses was placed in a small basket and set adrift on the water before he could lead a nation out of bondage, you too are being set afloat in a season where your full potential is yet unseen by others. But just because no one sees doesn't mean I don't see. I have not forgotten my promise. What I speak does not return void. And once that word is planted in the soil of your heart, it will bear fruit in spite of dry land. Shifting seasons. Mokere. Or rejection. Do not mistake my silence for absence. A teacher remains quiet during a test not because the student is forgotten, but because the test is part of the learning. A father does not answer every question immediately, not out of apathy, but to grow maturity. And I, your father, I am teaching you to hear the voice deeper than sound, the guidance that comes from within. When everything outside is quiet, that's when I speak in the language of growth. No more noise, no more striving, just sacred silence where I reach into the deepest parts of you no one else can touch. You have asked me, why must I suffer when all I want is to do what is right? You have wept through long nights no one else understood. But you didn't know that every scar became an entry point for my divine light. What you thought were burdens were actually the furnace shaping your soul. No one can carry true comfort without first knowing true pain. No one can lift the fallen without having once fallen themselves. What you're going through is not random. It is heaven's preparation. Remember Jesus, the Savior, was not welcomed in his own town. He was misunderstood by family, betrayed by friends, judged by liars, and hung on a cross like a criminal. Yet through that path of suffering, he brought eternal life. And you, made in his image, must also walk the path of self-denial to carry a life higher than what this world can imagine. No one can share in glory without having shared in suffering. So do not be surprised when you feel out of place in a shallow world. Don't be shocked when your truth is misunderstood or your purity mocked. You were not called to blend in. You were called to stand out, not for pride's sake, but because my presence in you cannot remain hidden. Just as light cannot stay trapped in a jar, the life in you will begin to leak out, illuminating even the darkest corners. And when that happens, people will not only see you, they will see the one who sent you. But for that to happen, you must learn to let go. Let go of personal expectations. Let go of carefully drawn plans. Let go even of your need to be understood, loved, or affirmed, because it is in that emptiness I will fill you. It is when you have nothing left to cling to that you will feel my hand lifting you. And you will understand, true fullness is not having all you want, but having me in all you need. Beloved, this is not a season of ease, but it is a season of growth. A season where I prune you so you may bear more fruit. A season where I awaken courage in you to say no to wrong, even if it means walking alone. A season where faith is no longer something you repeat on Sundays, but something you live every single day. And as you walk step by step, you will see not every mountain must be moved. Some were placed to teach you how to climb. Because as you ascend, you gain a higher view, a perspective where every tear finally makes sense. Don't look back. Don't mourn what's behind. Don't let the enemy use old memories to suffocate new hope. Every day is a gift. Every moment is an invitation to live deeper, truer, stronger. And I, the one who never changes, I am calling you into a journey, not an easy one, but a glorious one, not dazzling in the eyes of man, but radiant in the courts of heaven. My child, the time will come when you stand between two unclear choices, own a familiar but lifeless road, the other an unnamed path filled with unknowns. Your soul will tremble, afraid of getting lost, afraid of losing, unsure if the next step will lead to the promise. But it is there, in that delicate tension of decision, that my presence will be most powerfully revealed, not in thunder, not in the whirlwind, but in the gentle breath of quiet guidance. You will know I am there. I do not drive you forward. I walk beside you. I do not push you with pressure. I invite you with kindness, because you are mine. And what belongs to me, I do not throw into recklessness. I shape it day by day, moment by moment, leading you into places your feet have never walked, but where your heart will recognize home. You were not born to relive yesterday. You were born to journey into deeper layers of life that is not swayed by seasons, people, or circumstances, but nourished fully by the eternal stream of my presence. Let your heart remember this: not everything comfortable is right, and not every popular place is your destination. Truth is not measured by its applause, and destiny is not always dressed in celebration. There are heights that only lonely souls can reach, like Elijah, who stood alone before a nation, or Joseph, betrayed by brothers, yet raised to preserve a people. You, too, will have moments of being misunderstood, forgotten, cast aside, but in truth, you are being set apart. Don't expect everyone to understand. Don't fear being misunderstood. Greatness often unsettles people. The brighter your light shines, the clearer the surrounding darkness becomes. But that's no reason to dim it. You were not made to adapt to darkness. You were born to drive it back. And to do that, You must let your light keep burning even when the winds blow hard, even when no one stands with you. I see the nights when you cry from exhaustion. I see the moments when you quietly withdraw to avoid hurting others, though your own heart bleeds. I am there in every second. You choose to keep going when giving up seems easier. And those silent, steady, unseen choices, those are what move heaven. That is true faith. Not a faith of loud declarations, but a living faith shown through daily obedience when no one is watching. And you have it. In you is the seed of faithfulness this world cannot take away. My child, I am not calling you to perform great acts before the world. I am calling you to live deeply in my presence. Great miracles begin as small seeds, a word of forgiveness, a moment of restraint, a heartfelt embrace, a whispered prayer no one hears. That's where power ignites. That's how my kingdom advances, not with banners and slogans, but through hearts that obey in stillness. Turn your heart to me more than ever before. When the storms howl, don't run from shelter, go deeper into it. When the winds rage, learn to find me in every breath. Each breath is a reminder you don't walk alone. I am here, not ahead of you, calling from a distance. Not behind, watching silently, but beside you, steadying every step. When you feel lost, open my word. It is a lamp to your feet. When your heart feels heavy, open your mouth in prayer. It is the bridge between you and heaven. When you feel disconnected, close your eyes and remember, I'm still here. Not because you are always faithful, but because I never change. You may be weak, but I am not. You may be inconsistent, but my love is not. You may be shaken, but my word stands forever. You are approaching a threshold, and though it may look intimidating, remember it is not a wall. It is a door. What once frightened you will become your promised land. What once made you tremble will become your place of victory. But to pass through, you must believe not just in the outcome, but in the one who promised to go with you. I did not bring you to the door to leave you. I did not give you a dream to disappoint you. I am the one who begins, and I am the one who will finish. And one day, you will look back not with regret, but with revelation. You will see the full picture. Every fragment I once gathered, every wound I once touched, every dream you thought had died, now reborn in a new form, brighter, stronger, holier, because what comes from me, once molded in my hands, never returns void. There will be moments when everything around you feels suspended, not because time has stopped, but because your soul stands at a sacred crossroads. One side pulls with the familiar whisper of the past. The other beckons with the unfamiliar call of the future, strange, yet magnetic. And there you are, standing between the weight and the urge, between what is known and what has never been. In that moment, you may wonder, is this where I've been forgotten? But no, my child, that is exactly where I am reshaping your soul once again. Sometimes, it is in the silence that I am working most powerfully. When my voice is not booming on the outside, it's because I am speaking clearly on the inside. When you see no visible sign, that is when you must learn to trust in the invisible. Do you remember Jonah in the belly of the great fish for 3 days and 3 nights? It was there, in darkness and isolation, that he prayed, repented, and was renewed. That place was not the end, it was a new beginning. I am using your current circumstances the same way, not to punish, but to restore. Do not measure life by the noise of miracles. Sometimes, real life is born in stillness. A seed does not explode when it sprouts. A child forms in silence. And yet, in that silence, wonders unfold. Your soul, too, is being reborn not with thunder, but through the steady rhythm of faithfulness. And that is what will mature you, not by the world's measure of instant success, but by the depth of your obedience. My child, I know you are weary. There are moments when even loyalty becomes a burden, not because you don't love me, but because nothing seems to change despite your wholehearted devotion. But I tell you the truth, every time you choose to trust instead of doubt, to obey instead of compromise, a heavenly realm opens above you. You may not see it now, but the universe responds to your faith. Not a single tear is wasted. Not one prayer goes unheard. I see. I hear. I remember. You may not know what's coming, but you know me. And that is enough. When you no longer understand the path, hold tightly to the hand that leads you. I am not merely a guide. I am the way. I am not one voice among many. I am the voice that silences all others. And when I speak, everything must bow. My beloved, if there is one thing you must cling to in this season, it is your commitment, not feelings, not outcomes, but the first vow you made to me: I will follow you, no matter the cost. You did not know then how deeply those words would be engraved upon my heart, an eternal covenant, and I have kept that covenant. Whether you rise or fall, I am there. Whether you are strong or weak, I love you still. I have never forgotten your promise, and I will never cancel mine. Victory does not always come to the strongest, but to the one who refuses to give up. Some battles you think you've lost are, in heaven's eyes, your greatest triumphs. Some moments when you feel most broken are when I see you shining the brightest. For true light only bursts forth from a heart that has been broken open for mine to shine through. You do not need to be perfect, you only need to be real. Real in your pain. Real in your wrestling. Real in your pursuit. And I will meet you there. Do not fear when you feel nothing. Do not be alarmed when your heart feels hollow. That is not a sign I've left it, is a sign I'm drawing you closer. Just like a father teaching his child to walk. There are times I will let go not to abandon you, but to help you grow, but I am always near, ready to catch you when you fall. So too with me, I am not absent. I am training you to walk by faith. There is a door before you not like the ones you've known. It has no visible hinges, no obvious handle. It opens with only one key, obedience, and that key is already in your hand. You need nothing more, not strength, not knowledge, not resources, only your decision to trust and step forward. The rest I will take care of. My child, listen to the whisper in your heart, that is where I speak. Be sensitive to the gentle stirring, that is where I lead. Stand firm when no one understands, for that is when I am nearest. In the coming days, you will see my promises taking shape, not in fireworks, but in quiet footsteps, not in wide open gates, but in small rays of light piercing the dark, and each ray will lead the way. Each hidden step will take you closer to fulfillment. There will be times when you feel like you are walking an invisible staircase, each step no different than the last. No dazzling lights, no angel choirs, just daily, repeated faithfulness. But there, my child, is where I build greatness, not on mountaintops seen by all, but in the hidden chambers of your heart where only I dwell. You may think to be used by me, you must be extraordinary, walk in miracles, move in power, hear thunder from the heavens. But no, what I seek is not a glittering vessel, but a willing one. Do you remember David? I anointed him not because of his position, but because of his heart. He did not pursue the throne. He was simply faithful in the fields. And it was that quiet faithfulness that made him ready for greatness. You may feel today is ordinary, that your morning prayer never reached the heavens, that your silent forgiveness went unseen. But I say to you, every small thing done for me, every loving act, every uncompromising decision, is laying a foundation that cannot be shaken. And one day, those unseen things will become divine weapons in your hand when the time is right. I am preparing you in ways you do not yet realize. I do not build on noise, but on what lasts. I do not anchor destiny in emotion, but in faith. And true faith is proven when you walk on without seeing, like Abraham leaving his homeland without knowing where he was going, like Moses standing at the sea with enemies at his back, like Elijah standing alone before hundreds of false prophets. These were not superheroes. They were like you. And they had one thing: they believed me. And now, I see that same thing in you. Do not let the empty days fool you. Do not let the delay make you doubt. Do not let the silence make you think I've forgotten. I am recording every step you take in my book of remembrance. One day, what is hidden will be revealed. What was done in secret will be rewarded in the open. But the most precious gift is not the reward, it is me. As you walk each day and still choose to remain faithful, you are learning the greatest truth: to know me not through feelings, but through real relationship. To know me not by miracles, but by my quiet leading. To know me not by what I do, but by who I am. And when you learn that nothing can take you from me, no circumstance, no word, no enemy, my child, I am writing a new chapter in your life, not with sensational words, but with the sacred ink of obedience. Each small act you take in faith is a line written on heaven's page. And when the time is right, that book will be opened, not just before you, but before many. For I am the one who remembers, and I will never overlook a humble heart. If you ever feel lonely on this journey, remember this: even the greatest ones I've called have walked in loneliness. Jeremiah wept alone. Elijah longed for death in a cave. Joseph was forgotten in a prison cell. But after the loneliness came the answer. After the darkness came the light. After the veil came the revealing. And I am preparing a revealing in your life, not only where I come near, but where you are revealed as the one I always intended you to be. Hold fast to my word. It is the compass when you are lost, the lamp in the darkness, the anchor in the storm. Every time you open my word, it is not just study, it is encounter. When you pray, don't search for eloquence. Come as a child comes to their father, simple, honest, hungry. I do not need polished phrases. I need a true heart. And it is in that place that power is poured out. You won't always feel strong, and you don't have to be. You only need to cling to the one who does not change. Some days you will witness miracles. Other days, there will be only tears. But both are equally sacred if you walk with me. For the most precious thing is not the outcome, but the companionship. And I, the one who loves you, will never abandon you on the way. My child, as you look back on the path you've walked, you'll see that every step was not in vain. Every time you chose forgiveness over bitterness. Every time you waited instead of rushing. Every time you prayed instead of complaining, those were the moments that carved a solid road beneath your feet, not built by your own strength, but by me, the one who went ahead of you and paved the way with my eternal faithfulness. You may not realize it, but even in the moments you felt furthest from me, I was right beside you. When your tears fell, I was the one who caught them. When you sighed in the quiet of night, I heard it as prayer. When your heart collapsed and no one noticed, I did. And in that moment, I held you in unseen arms. Your soul could still feel. You may think you've done nothing great for my kingdom, that your life is too ordinary to matter. But I say to you, in the place you think is hidden, I have already written your name in the book of life. In the moments you call mundane, I am composing a glorious harmony. For I do not measure value by fame, but by faithfulness. The greatest in my kingdom are not always the most visible, but those who serve quietly, tirelessly, and purely for me alone. Let your heart be steady. My child, do not let the words of men shake what I have spoken. Do not let judgment, opinion, or pressure from this world suffocate the fire within you. I lit that flame, and only I have the authority to extinguish it. No matter how fierce the winds blow, that fire will not die as long as you hold my hand. Stand firm in what I have taught you. Do not look to the left or to the right. Do not compare your path to another's. You were made for a distinct missiona, sacred covenant between you and me. The time is drawing near when you will see the seeds I planted in your heart begin to bloom, not in the applause of crowds, but in my presence, not under stage lights, but under the light of my glory shining in your soul. Those who once doubted you will marvel at what I have done through you, but let that not be your reward. Your true reward is this: to be known by me, to be loved by me, and to walk in the fullness of what I've destined for you. My beloved, as the shaking continues in this world, do not let fear enter your heart. Remember, the storm does not come to swallow you, but to lift you. The great waves are not meant to drown you, but to carry you into deeper waters where I await. Where others see chaos, you must see opportunity. Where others choose panic, you must choose prayer. Where others remain silent, you must speak my word. For you are the light in the darkness, the voice in the confusion, the bearer of truth in a sea of deception. Remember Job, who lost everything, yet never lost his faith. Remember Joseph, betrayed yet never forsook his integrity. Remember Jesus, who suffered and died, but was never defeated. These are your patterns, not for ease, but for glory, and you too are walking a similar path, where each step is watched by the eyes of the Almighty. In these final days, I am seeking hearts of resilience, not the flawless, but the ones who fall and rise again, not the fearless, but those who fear and still go forward, not the doubtless, but those who choose faith in the midst of confusion. And you, my child, you are one of them. Hold your place. Do not let anyone steal your crown. Do not give up because of temporary disappointment, for the eternal reward awaits you not here, but in eternity. When you feel weak, lift your face. I am there. When you feel exhausted, call to me. I will come. When you have nothing left to offer, give me your heart, and that will be enough. It is not your strength that accomplishes the extraordinary, but my grace working through you. And that grace is sufficient for every season, every trial, every sorrow, and every victory. So keep walking, not in pressure, but in peace, not in fear, but in power, not by what you see, but by faith. For I go before you, I dwell within you, and I wait for you at the finish. The journey will not end in sorrow, it will end in glory. And now that all has been spoken, all has been written, only one thing remains for you to do. Believe me. It is in that place of trust that you will see what no eye has seen, hear what no ear has heard, and experience what no heart has ever imagined, the things I have prepared for those who love me. And you will know, not a single day was wasted, not a single prayer was useless, not a single tear was overlooked. All things will work together for your good, because you are mine. Thank you for receiving today's message. Be sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so we can continue to receive the living word together. Build a strong and unshakable faith, and walk daily in the boundless love of the Lord. Amen.